Hiya friends, Prepared Suburbanite back with you. Well, today is Memorial Day 2025. It's Monday, May 26th. May 26th. And today is the day that we are to honor each and every single one of our veterans that gave their last full measure of devotion to this country and for our freedoms. So take a minute today on this Memorial Day to say a silent prayer if you need to honor those that gave everything for our freedom, for our country, and for the way we live our lives. What I'd like to talk about today, in addition to it being Memorial Day, is being prepared. And I have been a prepper for a number of years now, and we have filled pretty much every corner of our home with preps. I've taken half of our two-car garage and converted it into a storage pantry for all our emergency backup food, canned goods, you name it, we've got it down there in our two-car garage, at least half of the two-car garage. And we have converted a number of our closets and spare bedrooms into areas where we place additional preps. We've got a lot of our home canned goods in a specially built closet in our spare bedroom. We've got racks set up in that bedroom for additional preps up there. And I have pretty much stretched every bit of space that I can in this house. And it's a fairly good size house. We're about 2,800 square feet. But I think we've got quite enough food preparations, water preparations, water filtration, all kinds of good things for our backups. We've got our bug out bags, we've got our get home bags, we've got everything that we need. And I've seen it with a lot of other prepper channels too, that once they reach a certain stage, very few of their videos that come out on a regular basis really do talk about being prepared and how to be prepared and all the different aspects of it. And I am guilty of the same thing because the news is the news, and I got focused quite a bit on that over the last few years, to say the least. I put prepping pretty much on the back burner because we're full. We have pretty much everything that we need except the motivation to continue. And I recently read that this book is going to be made into a movie soon. Now, this is 1 Second After by William Forstchen, and it's a terrific read on preparation and being prepared, and what this family had to live through when an EMP struck their hometown and in fact, the whole East Coast, and in fact, maybe the whole country. It was a pretty frightening reread of that. I read this book a number of years ago and really did enjoy it. And when I heard that they are going to make a movie out of it, and hoping that it's not going to be anything weird or woke or anything like that, hoping that they'll really capture the right essence of preparation for the unthinkable, I picked the book up and reread it just recently, and it really did reignite my fever for being prepared. So, with that said, right after the intro, I'll get into some more things that motivate preppers. So, with that said, there are a number of preparedness fiction novels out there that are really, really, really good and are worth the time and trouble if you've already read them to go reread them. And I think it will spark a renewed emphasis on being prepared. The the next book that I really got into was this one. Hopefully you can see that there. And this is Holding Their Own by Joe Nobody. It's a story of survival. It's the first book in a series of books by Joe Nobody, and it's pretty much a handbook for what you need to be prepared for. He gets into an awful lot of detail about how the country as we know it is really not ready for an infiltration of terrorism. And it's almost a handbook for the bad guys if you really want to get into it. But it's very well written, and it really does get you thinking about what it is that we need to be prepared for. So there's an awful lot there. And the third book that I'm going to recommend is this one. This is from the 299 Days series by Glenn Tate. And Glenn does a masterful job in the art of being prepared. And it's his fictional story of preparedness and his journey through a devastating effect here in the United States. So what am I really trying to get to here? I think an awful lot of us that have been preparing for the future, preparing for whatever else may happen, I think we may have lost our motivation, or at least put it on a back burner. I know I did. And when I say that, it's with a little bit of remorse that these books are out there. They're available. You can get them from Amazon any day of the week. Your local used bookstores probably have them around. They are absolutely worth the time and investment into recapturing the motivations for why we prepare, why we need to have more than 3 or 4 days food on hand, why we need to master some of the survival techniques that are so important for keeping us alive and keeping us going during any kind of a crisis, whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's terrorism, the hordes in the streets that are coming after you. What we've got to be doing for food preparation, for food storage, for canning, for gardening, for taking care of our families, for doing all the right things that we need to do as preppers. So, well worth the time and trouble to pick these books up. Glenn Tate, Joe Nobody, and William Forston for the series on 1 Second After. He's written a number of books. He's got, I think, 1 Year After, and a third one that follows that carries on his his story throughout the whole ordeal that these fictional novels get into. And I think for me personally, it reignited an awful lot of motivation that I think we all need to continue to be prepared. And setting goals is one of the first things that you need to be concerned about. I think for new preppers that are just starting out, that are getting nervous about what's going on in the world today, you've got to start looking at what you've got. Take an inventory of where you're at with your food and water, and take a good hard look at it, and then start figuring out ways that you can buffer that so that you can first get to a 1 month backup food supply and water, and then 3 months, and then 6 months, and then 1 year, and then 18 months, and then 2 years. I think we're probably at the 2-year mark right now, and I'm hoping that if anything really bad happens, that it'll be over in less than 2 years, but maybe 2 years isn't long enough. So, with all that said, this is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you that today is Memorial Day, and I urge you all to take a moment and thank those folks that gave their last full measure of devotion to keep us free and keep us safe. And be prepared always. I'll see y'all on the next video.